Good morning. Okay, I will try to wave to everyone as you come in. Thank you for popping on. I know it's like late morning, middle of the day, so many of you may be working. But anyway, this was something that just came up in my spirit. I said, let me jump on and talk about this topic a little bit. And first of all, I'm Phoenix Love of a Healer's Haven Wellness Solutions. I work with purpose driven leaders who help heal and serve others, but may be struggling with your own time management, work life balance, stress, and just everything that comes with living life. I provide holistic healing solutions and therapeutic interventions to help you to be your best and to remain on purpose, healthy, and whole. I am the helper to the healer and the healer to the helper. Thank you for jumping on. And let me just get right to it. So, the topic, if you saw the title of this message, is really all about, are you trading your health for money? And if so, how much are you worth? And this came out of, I'm in a number of different groups, and this topic has come up many, many times of, how do you make six figures? Everybody wants to know that. That's the magic question. How do you make six figures? Especially in my line of work, as a social work field or as a therapist, because there are some myths that you cannot make that type of money, especially as a social worker. However, that is a myth. That's false. Many of us are making six figures, have made six figures, and but really, at what cost are you making those six figures? Especially if you work in a field like a helping profession, like social work, like mental health, which can be very stressful, which can be, have some toxic environments. So this is what really led me to put this question out and this message out, because I really want everyone to think about it. Everything that we do is an energy exchange, including money transactions. And if you think about it, when you are working, you are trading your time, your knowledge, your skills, your energy for money. And we all have to earn a living, right? Because nothing's, there's things that are for free, but most things you have to pay money. You have to be able to pay mortgage and rent and car insurance and, transportation, taking care of your children, tuition, like I'm paying college tuition, your own education. Everything requires money. However, however, at what cost? And this boils down to value. How much you value yourself, how much you value your health, how much you value, your time. And so it is a question that we have to think about, because many of us are in environments right now, work environments that are very toxic, that are taxing on our health, our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health. I had one person reach out to me and said that they get physically ill every single time they have to go to work. And this person actually is a corrections officer. So, I know there are some occupations that are more stressful than others. But what I'm also hearing, even people that work in corporate America, or they work in, just, jobs that you typically wouldn't be considered like something that's high risk environments, like I've worked in, or many therapists or people that work in the mental health field. But they are also expressing just feeling extremely stressed out, overwhelmed, because of the role of technology. So let me unpack that a little bit. The role of technology in our day and age right now, this is why this is so important for you to really assess how much are you trading your health for money, because the role of technology has made us accessible 24 hours a day. And many of you know what I'm talking about, because probably many of you may be in management, or maybe you are, some kind of case manager, or something that requires you to be accessible by your employers all the time, or maybe you're on call, because I know I've worked in, as an administrator in the mental health field when I worked for justice facility. So I was on call at times. So I would get calls 3 o'clock in the morning, especially I was dealing with children, and I had to respond. So many of you that work in the health field, you know what I'm talking about. And this is something, again, that can affect our health because many of us are sleep deprived. Many of us are not, practicing self-care or self-preservation. So technology has truly impacted how we even how it has affected our work-life balance. Pretty much our personal life can become non-existent because we're putting so much emphasis into our work. Because why? Some of us are working overtime because we have bills, we have responsibilities, or we want to make those 6 figures, right? But what are we trading? We're trading our sleep. We're trading time for self-care. We're trading time for human connection, right? So many of us are not spending time with our loved ones, or even some of it is sacrificing time with our children, with our families. All of that is important to our health. So we have to really think about it. At what cost are we doing this? Quick story, I had a colleague, God rest her soul, that I worked with, actually in my last job before I transitioned into my own private practice. And I remember her sitting on my couch in my office in tears because she had been diagnosed with cancer, and it was an aggressive cancer. And this was a young, vibrant, healthy woman. She would work out 5 days a week. She was a vegetarian diet. She, had a great support system, family, new work-life balance. And she was actually, in the helping field like I was. So I was shocked. And I believe even she was shocked, and everybody that she knew was shocked when she developed this aggressive cancer that ultimately took her life very, very, very quickly. And I remember her sitting there in tears, and I want everyone to listen to what I'm saying. She said, you know me. She said, I have never been sick. I've always been healthy. I've stayed on top of it. There's no reason why I shot. She said, I believe it's because of the environment. It's because of where I've worked. So we have to be very careful and understand that our environment also has an effect on our health. And I'm talking about, yes, we have things environmentally in the climate change and, the water that we drink, but also sometimes our work environments may have things within the buildings, asbestos, things of that nature that can be affecting our health. Okay? So these are all things that we have to be aware of and monitoring, because this young lady, she ended up leaving this earth prematurely. And we both believe that, some of it had a lot to do with the environment that we both were working in. So I have to tell you, and I'm just being transparent, that was part of my my decision to say, you know what, maybe it's time for me to do something different. Because again, you never know when you're working at these different companies and facilities, because I've always worked in facilities. A lot of these places are old buildings. You don't know what's in those walls. You don't know what kind of maintenance that they're really doing, the upkeep, and what may be dwelling from a chemical standpoint that can have an effect on your health. Okay, so we're talking about environmental factors, above and beyond just the normal everyday, climate change, water that we drink, things that we put into our bodies, but also even our work environments. So that also is a factor that you have to keep in mind. Besides working in toxic environments, which that's a whole separate live that I'll do, but I'm just talking about working in your everyday job that, can have an impact on your health. So what I want to add to that, the last point, is about stress. Because if you are working already in an environment and there may be some situations that you don't even know, because these things are not seen with the natural eye, that if you are stressed out, that also weakens your immune system, and it makes you more susceptible to physical health issues, mental health issues, emotional health issues. So we have to keep in mind that all of these things can be layered and impacting our health. Okay, so if you are stressed out, you are not able to be in a position to be able to protect yourself the way you need to. So keep those things in mind. And then it goes back to asking that question: is this worth my health? And yes, you have to pay bills, you have to take care of yourself, you have to take care of your families, but sometimes we have to really examine what is more valuable, what is more important. And that is where, sometimes you need some assistance because, again, sometimes we just don't know. There could be things going on that are affecting our health in the environments that we are in. And I'm not saying this can't be in our homes as well, or even in our neighborhoods, because it can. Because we have to keep in mind that there are emissions from, the cars driving and trucks and planes. All of those things cause pollution in the air, right? Airborne. And we really don't have control over that, okay? But there's also noise pollution, because I know I was just reading an article the other day about, with the landscapers. I know in my area, the landscapers are basically around 24/7, it seems like. They're always with the noise, with the leaf blowers, sirens, ambulance sirens. Some of these things we don't have any control over, but this is why it's important to focus on the things that we do have control over, which is self-preservation of our bodies and our minds. Okay, so I want to be able to support you in that. So I am doing a free webinar on October 9th, which is tomorrow. Wow. Wednesday, October 9th at 7:30 p.m. I will drop the registration link in the comments, because I am going to be really breaking down exactly what I'm talking about, but not only that, to give some tips, some strategies, some protective tools, skills that can help you, especially, let me go back, especially if you are an empath like myself, because if you're an empath, you're highly sensitive, you're more sensitive than other people to environmental factors, to toxins, to even just being in environments where people may not have your best interests at heart. So you have to protect yourself at another level. So I'm going to be specifically talking to points that will support empaths as well, because we right now it is so vital that we understand how to protect ourselves and to protect our gifts. Okay, but in general, just dealing with understanding the role of genetics, your bloodline, nature, not even nature versus nurture, but really nature and nurture, and how that impacts our health and our ability to heal. Generational curses, and again, looking at the environmental factors, looking at anxiety, depression, chronic stress, and then how that shows up in us every single day. Okay? And we have to also take into consideration that, we are going through this life and we're just focused on whatever's in front of us, right? But life is always happening around us. And we are all interconnected to each other. We are a reflection of each other. So what you think, may not impact you, or something that you do that may not impact someone else, it does. We're all part of this giant, blueprint called life. We all have our own unique blueprint, but there's this larger, bigger plan that we're all a part of. And we're all connected, and we're all connected to this earth, right? This is all part of what the divine has created, right? We're a part of that. So we have to understand how we show up every single day. It does have an impact not only on our children and our children's children, but it impacts everybody. We impact each other. Okay? This is why this world seems so crazy right now, right? And unstable. So as leaders, as those that are called to do something to serve, certain populations, to help, that has the gift and the calling and the purpose to do so, you have to remain healthy. So this is where I come in. Hopefully, if you decide to join us, and the name of the webinar is How to Stay Sane in an Insane World. How to Stay Sane in an Insane World. Because if you look around, you turn on the news, It's always something. There's things going on. Some things we have control over, some things we don't. So I'm going to really talk about 7 keys to a peaceful mind and a peaceful spirit. How to stay sane even though our environment does not seem sane all the time. Okay? So I will drop that link, and I'm hoping that you will join me. Again, it's tomorrow, October 9th, 7:30 p.m. Yes, I will. Thank you. And there was something else I know. I'm sitting here looking at my notes. Okay, self-preservation. Let me just say something real quick about that. I am going to spend probably about 10 minutes on self-preservation. And you are going to leave with a mini stress busting plan. A mini stress busting plan. So I'm going to give some tips. Of course, they're going to be holistic healing and holistic health based, because that is my area, mental health from a holistic healing perspective. But I'm going to also talk about the cross section or the intersection between spirituality and therapy. We need both. Hence, why I do what I do. We need both in this time and era that we are living in. Do not be afraid of therapy, okay? Because there are plenty of amazing therapists. I'm a part of different therapist organizations, and there's therapists for every specialty you can think of, okay? And mine happen to be holistic health, energy healing, spirituality. So I am going to talk about that intersection and why it works, why my clients see the results, why it has changed my life from where I came many years ago, being just like many of you are right now, stuck, lost, not healthy, taking medication, feeling like I don't want to be here. I mean, all of that. And I'm transparent about it. I write about it in my books that that I'm in, the anthologies I'm in, the books that I've written, because we are a reflection of each other. I'm no different than you are. You that may be suffering right now and you're trying to figure out, what do I do? You who are going into a job that you may be making close to 6 figures or 6 figures, and you are dying at the same time. When I say dying, I mean spiritually, emotionally, mentally, every single day, because you are sacrificing your health, your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, because it's probably manifesting as chronic disease or chronic illness in your body at this point, for dollars. And we've done it. I've done it. It's this is what we do, because we're conditioned, especially living in a capitalist society, that you have to, make all of this money so that you can survive, especially if you live in a market like New York, where I live, or LA, or Chicago, any of these very expensive places to live. I think DC has gotten pretty expensive to live. So I'm saying that self-preservation is key. And with this webinar tomorrow, October 9th at 7:30, you will leave with a stress-busting plan, and some tools and something to think about on, okay, how do I show up every day as my best self, serve the people I'm called to serve, but do it with power, and do it, when you do feel yourself slipping, knowing how, and don't feel guilty about walking away and taking care of yourself. And that's something else that we're conditioned. So again, I'm going to talk about all of that. So hopefully you can join me. I will drop the link as soon as I end this live. And I hope you can join me tomorrow. So I am Phoenix Love of A Healer's Haven Wellness Solutions. I hope everyone have an amazing, amazing Tuesday. I just want to make sure I'm waving to everyone that jumped on. And join us. Join us tomorrow night. And so you can get these tips and walk away with a plan. Okay? All right, everyone. Have a blessed Tuesday. Peace out.